the life. It's amazing what we've been through over these past 2 decades.
Bad times, better times.
Yep. 3 years ago, being in a wheelchair and barely being able to get up and walk across the room, and now we have a relatively normal life. There is no typical evening in our household anymore.
Usually it's homework, dinner.
It's pretty...
Sometimes we goof off though.
Well, my grandfather died from heart failure in 1955, and then my mother died at 42 from cardiomyopathy. When I was first diagnosed at 33 years old, the first doctor that I was with still kind of questioned the fact that it was related to my mother. My mom and dad went to Maui for their 20th wedding anniversary, and that was about a month before she passed away.
The best
Then
days
fast
of your life,
forward several years, and Jeff and I met each other. I'm trying to think of what I can say on camera.
How was the love of your life?
There was an instant connection between us when we first met.
And then a whopping 10 months later, here we are getting married.
Fast forward 12 years. And
Jake was 5.
Jake was 5. I was working a lot, traveling a lot, working crazy hours, and started to feel some palpitations and just not...
Strange.
Yeah, just not feeling great, and mentioned it to the doctor a few times, and they just kind of attributed it to being a young mom, working a lot, traveling a lot, just said I was tired. So they finally ran an EKG and said, we're just going to show it to the doctor real quick and we'll be right back. And then they said that I had cardiomyopathy.
I felt numb. I'm a fixer and I couldn't fix it. And it's hard when you can't fix things, you know, especially when it's the person you love and you'd do anything you possibly could for her, but there's nothing you can do.
It just immediately brought the memories back of my mom. They never told us until the day that she died that she had this disease, and that was one of the toughest things, I think, in losing her. One of the reasons that we've been so open with our own child.
Right.
He needed to understand that his mom still got up and went to work every day. And that I didn't just sit there on the couch and let this disease take over. That I got up and I got dressed and I put on a smile and I took myself to work. Because I'm a fighter. You don't just lay down and die. That was the most important message to me that I could set for my child.
You knew that he'd, after the fact, that he could possibly have it too. You had to be able to accept that as you grew up with the testing, that we know Jake doesn't have it. You know, if that testing wasn't there, he'd still be living in that 50-50 world.
We told my brothers at first, but we didn't want to tell my sister because she was 8 months pregnant. The nurses said, you have to tell her because she's 8 months pregnant. She had it. She ended up having a heart transplant 7 months after she gave birth.
Well, you got listed in September as a B.
Yep, I was listed the Tuesday after Labor Day in 2012, and this is with my doctor, Dr. Dimitru. They brought me in that Monday when I said that was it. I knew I was sinking. After everything that I went through in waiting for the heart, you know, being sick for almost a decade, not even just waiting for the heart, but all the procedures that I went through the 2 years leading up to my transplant. I went through a lot those last couple of years. This is the morning of my heart transplant. Fought really hard to stay alive. But by the time that I reached this point, I just felt like a warrior. The very first time that I saw myself in the mirror post-transplant was almost a week and a half after my transplant. and I was in utter shock at just everything that I had gone through, and the transformation, the coloring in my face. I had color in my gums. I didn't realize how gray my gums had become. It was a totally surreal experience, and you feel like this science project of sorts. I can't explain how it felt to be alone and see myself in the mirror and know that I had somebody else's heart in me, and know that somebody else had died for me to live. And I took this picture of myself because I knew that I never wanted to forget this moment, that I wanted to document it, because I'm so incredibly grateful. I'm grateful to be here. This is who I am, and this is what I went through. And I'm proud that I was able to live through this, and I'm proud that I'm here today. This is my donor. He was a father of 2. He was a husband, and a brother, son, uncle. You know, it's hard to put into words or describe in words how, incredibly, thank you doesn't even describe it. And he gave me a chance that no one else could give me. Heart disease is the #1 killer of women, and that's something that we need to focus on as a society. We need to do more research and development, but we need to do more education as well. I cannot stress enough that you need to be your own advocate. I pushed and I made sure that I called the right people and who I knew were able to make things happen. And because of that, I'm still alive today. This would not all be possible if not but for those donations and the funds gathered to conduct that research. I will need a new heart. I have vasculopathy. It's a form of rejection, and this heart will only last a limited amount of time. I don't know what my future looks like. It's going back down the path again of waiting on the list again. I haven't been listed. We don't know what that looks like. It's getting sick again. It's waiting to get sicker before I get better. Losing my mother at 14 to this disease, I did not want my son to lose me to this disease. I was terrified of my son going through the same experience that I went through, because I did not want him to have this pain. But I'm grateful to be here with him today. And I'm grateful to be here with my husband.
Wait, but
we kiss in threes.
We kiss in threes.
Yeah, that's our thing.